So, hello, hi, Glen Carp. Welcome to my little channel, Wise Women Weekdays. And thank you for, well, you're very welcome. Thank you for sorting my eyes out.
It's a pleasure.
So it's not Mr, it's not Doctor, no, it's Mr, isn't it? It's not Doctor,
Mr.
Why is it a Mr? We are talking to Harley Street's top eye surgeon here.
So it's a quirky thing in the UK, in the United Kingdom. When you become a doctor, you become a doctor.
Yes.
But once you become a surgeon, you revert back to either becoming a Mr. or a Mrs. or a Miss.
You don't want to be a Mrs. or a Miss now. You can these days.
Well, I am a Mr. And the reason they do that is by tradition. I think it was in the early days of medicine, surgeons weren't deemed to be good enough to be called doctors.
Wow.
Because a lot of their patients didn't make it.
Oh,
there were no anesthetics, there was no antibiotics. So if you did a surgery on someone, the chances of them surviving was poor. So they kind of felt at the time, no, you guys are not really good enough to be called doctors. But by tradition, of course, surgery caught up and things improved dramatically over the years. And yeah, today by tradition, if you're in the UK and you become a surgeon, you're a consultant, you go back from being a doctor to becoming a Mr. or a Mrs. again. Yeah, it's just tradition.
Interesting. Yeah. It's very interesting.
I think it's the only country in the world where they still do
well,
that.
We're a bit quirky. But it's a bit, actually, it's not really good, is it? Because being an eye surgeon, you've gone through all that, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a Mr. or a Mrs., but it doesn't indicate what your profession is, does it? It's
yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's nice to be called a doctor, but people who know who you are and what you do, etc. So it's just by tradition. I think it's nice sometimes to keep the tradition.
Yeah.
It's like keeping an old listed building intact. We can add a lot of modern features to it, but then it loses its true nature. And I think that's what they've tried to do, to keep the originality in place. It's nice.
So, nice. And you're not from the UK, I think you're South African.
Correct. I grew up in South Africa, trained in South Africa. I've been in the UK now for about 20 years. And
And here you are, in Harley Street.
Yeah.
Now, and you're working for the London Vision Clinic. What's the O for? Hello, London. London Vision Clinic in Harley Street. I came to see you 10 years ago.
That's right.
You haven't aged at all. It does fly. You haven't aged at all. Because 10 years ago, I was using glasses, reading glasses.
Yes.
And going to the optician, I would go to the optician and say, is there anything that can be done rather than glasses? And they would say, yeah, you can have lenses or bifocals and all these other things, but I wanted them lasered. And they said, you can't have them lasered for reading, it's just an aging process and you can't have them done. Then I found you and I came here and you changed my life, absolutely changed my life. Because I remember going home and reading the back of a mustard jar and showing off saying, well, I can read. Now 10 years on, obviously wear and tear, my eyes have deteriorated a little bit, as we all do, don't we? Apart from you, because you look the same.
I've also had an adjustment.
Have you? Have you? Okay. Not Botox though, because Rachel, you look too young, honestly. But so I had an adjustment last week, and here I am just having a checkup, and it's great. A bit blurry because you've just taken some protective lenses over me. Tell me about it. What is different about the laser technology that saves people's sight and changes our lives?
Sure. So the problem we all face is that as we, dare I say, get a bit older, and we get to our mid-40s, the muscles in the eye that bring us from distance vision to reading, their effect weakens. So we then become trapped at distance. A lot of people will just have distance vision and then they need separate readers to be able to see up close. Up until now, we're not able to strengthen that system naturally. And there's nothing sort of on the horizon that's going to be able to do that. So to get around that, people will either wear glasses, specifically for reading, but then looking through them, they're blurry at distance. You can get varifocals, where the top of the glasses are good for distance, the bottom for near. That's one pair. But then sometimes the angle is difficult, because the reading portion is at the bottom.
Yeah, and I tried those and I felt sick.
So it's not for everyone, but normally if you persevere, you do adapt into it, yes.
Okay.
Another version is to wear contact lenses, and you can have nowadays multifocal contact lenses, so half of the vision is distance, half near, but it is a little distorted at times, certain lighting conditions. Or you can have one eye made for reading and one eye for distance. And that's where this laser blended vision came from. what we realized is when we were doing laser treatments for patients, just for distance, for example, we realized that we could increase the depth of field at the same time as correcting the vision. So what this meant is when you lasered someone for distance, the intermediate vision was quite good as well. So they could see distance, intermediate, and then the near was a little tricky. So by then giving one eye a little bit more reading, one eye a little bit more distance, but both of them being able to see in the middle, it gave them comfortable vision. And this is what's now called presbyond or laser blended vision. It was developed in this clinic.
I know, yes.
By my colleague Dan Reinstein.
Yes.
And we've been able to do this for 20 years.
Yes.
But it didn't really take off because we were the only ones doing it. It wasn't widely broadcast.
Yeah.
About 13 years ago, Carl Zeiss, which is the laser company we work with, they took on this approach and now it's a commercial product. So now it's available in many clinics in the UK and around the world. We've trained thousands of surgeons from around the world to be able to use this technique.
So they train here?
We do offer training once a year. We offer teaching courses, but Carl Zeiss does onboarding for them anyway, the laser company itself. Yeah.
So I know people watching this and friends that I've spoken to are going to ask, well, loads of questions. The first one is, what if it goes wrong?
So thankfully, what if it goes wrong is extremely rare. In most people, the risk of laser eye surgery is lower than if you were wearing contact lenses over a period of 3 years, for example. And we're all comfortable wearing lenses, but with hygiene and scratches on the eye, you can get infections and scratches, etc. Laser does have risk, but again, most of the so-called incidences when they happen can be improved, they can be repaired. There is a lot of extra treatments available that can bring people back on track, in other words, yes. But the actual incidence of something going wrong is extremely low.
So
just to give you an example, for the average person, the risk of losing on the reading chart, on the distance chart, when you read on the charts, if you're able to read to the very small print with glasses, the risk of just losing one line or two, certainly in our clinic, is about a 0.1% chance, which is about a 1 in 1,000 chance, which is very, very low. And then for that to happen in both eyes, well, you've got to be very unlucky, yes.
Has it happened?
It does happen, but then even in those patients, we don't leave them, we work on them.
So it can. So if something did happen, then it can be repaired.
In a lot of cases, sometimes we can't. I mean, nothing is foolproof, of course. Even wearing contact lenses and things has its risks.
Yeah. Of course. And the other thing, sorry, because a phone call just came in, that's why I had to press the button.
But just to maybe also put it out there, it's also about looking at the benefits. So we wear glasses, we wear lenses, but they can't always be used for everything.
No.
We were talking about travel earlier on.
Yeah.
And if you want to go to some beautiful island and swim in the sea and have sunglasses, well, you'd need lens sunglasses.
Yeah.
And then swimming in the sea, you'd have to leave your glasses by the umbrella.
Yeah.
Now you're walking down the beach fuzzy, and it's awkward.
Yes.
Once you've had laser, you can see at all distances, and you get to wear ordinary sunglasses, whichever style you like, because you're not having to have the prescription put in at the same time.
Of course.
But that's just one example. And what I always say to people is that every one of us will have areas in our own lifestyle where we have these little touch points, these nuisance points, where glasses or lenses don't quite work for us. And that's the real motivation for these treatments, because it is different. Everyone has their own.
I was learning to teach yoga, and I was in a class, and I couldn't keep putting my glasses on and reading the notes with glasses, and that was a real inspiration that I'm going to do it.
There you go. So that's why it becomes a personal choice.
Yes.
It's not for everyone, but for those who want that extra freedom, thankfully the risks are very low, and the benefits are there for you.
They're huge.
Yeah.
Why is it not for everyone?
So it is pretty much for everyone.
It's a choice thing or a physical
thing. Physical-wise, there are very few people who are not candidates. Nowadays, the range of treatment that can be done is very, very high.
Okay.
Almost everyone is pretty much suitable. And if your prescription is too high for laser, there are other options as well. There's lens surgery. We can place little internal contact lenses inside the eye. They're called ICLs. Internal columnar lenses, Or one can have lens replacement surgery if you're at a certain age and if you need that benefit, yes.
And that's like taking out the lens of your eye?
Yeah, it's like doing cataract surgery, but at a younger age, yes.
Okay. Okay. So is that also the retractive lens? Because when I had mine done 10 years ago, a friend coincidentally was having hers done, but not laser, she was having those lenses put in.
Correct.
Now there's a little bit more possibility of things going wrong with that, or?
So every surgery has its own innate risk.
Yes.
What you're talking about is lens replacement surgery, and that's using a multifocal lens. So the multifocal lens generally have segments to them which are designed to have some parts of the vision for distance and some for near. And they work very well. For the most part, people are very, very comfortable with them.
Yeah.
Some people are affected a little bit by glare or the quality of vision, because as the light comes in, you can't choose which part of the lens to use it all. But for the most part, those lenses have evolved a lot over the years, and they're much, much better tolerated today. The latest generation of these lenses has much lower side effects. From our perspective, we've always enjoyed the laser version because it has the least amount of side effects, and it has pretty tight control. You can get people very easily on target.
Okay.
But if you're not suitable for laser,
you have that option.
You have that option. Or if indeed you have a little bit of cataract, then that option really comes up to the front, because once you have a cataract, you can't see through your natural lens.
Right.
It needs to be replaced, yes.
So I'm going to come back to cataract, but going back with the lenses, are they for life? You know, if you've had these lenses replaced, or is it like laser, your body may change and need something further on?
The lenses are for life, but the eye is focused using the front of the eye, the middle of the eye, which is where the lens replaces things, and then the length of your eye. Once we get to a certain age, the length doesn't really change.
Okay.
And the curvature will change very slowly over many years. So by doing lens surgery, it's considered a more permanent approach. There is less change over a long period of time, but it can change. And there are many studies that do show that, yes, over a period of time, someone may well benefit from a little bit more laser to correct the very small changes.
Okay.
You're also right. Laser can also change, because laser is only done on the surface of the eye. We're not going into the eye.
Yes.
So if that lens does go cloudy over time or expands, it can push the prescription a little bit, and then an adjustment can be done. I think the point around it, though, in terms of laser, is that what I explain to people is that we don't look the same our whole lives.
No.
And the eyes will change a little bit as we get older in every way. So there's no one who ever has a treatment and you're done forever.
No.
You'll always be much, much better than you ever were, but at some point along the journey, little adjustments can be done. And the nice thing about laser is that, again, it's always very safe. It's the safest option out of all of them because it's a surface treatment.
So I've had 2 now over a 10-year period.
Yes.
How many more could I have? You are. So we could go snack.
I'm 20 years.
Okay. Wow, that's very good, isn't it?
Yeah.
How many, could people have? I know how long is a piece of string, but could I have another every 10 years till I'm 110? Or
you have a bit more room, certainly. You have space for more treatment.
Because of the health of my eyes?
Correct. It's all down to the thickness of your cornea. Every time we do a bit of treatment, we do remove a little bit of tissue to change the shape, to the correct shape. If you start with a very thick cornea, you can have many treatments, 5, 6, 7 treatments over your lifetime. But at some point you will run low.
Yes.
And at that point, you then also have the option of lens surgery.
Lenses for the lens. Okay,
Yeah.
so I could go on
So we
further.
normally try and keep people in the good zone,
Yes.
in the most comfortable vision by doing adjustments. And most people only need adjustments over many years.
So for me, it's 10, which it'd be great if it was 20, but
So I
I'm
was
happy with 10.
12 years after my first surgery. I had my first, but that was aging. My eye got.
You didn't do it yourself?
No, my colleague did. Yeah, Dan Rice did.
Yeah, I know. Teasing.
And I did him. But
not at the same time.
when I was 32, I had my first treatment. I was short-sighted, had good distance in near. When I got to my mid-40s, I had an adjustment to have the presbyon, the blended vision, one eye reading, one eye distance, so I could keep my reading glasses out of the hands. And yeah, in the years to come, I'm in my 50s now, but I'll need a little tweak at some point.
Well, you look very good for being in your 50s, I must say. It must be the Botox, all these needles.
My wife looks after me well.
Well, she must do. So the other thing I was going to say, cataract. So people said, can laser surgery, be done on cataracts? I think beforehand you mentioned, no, not that I've got cataracts.
Yeah.
And are we all going to get cataracts?
So, good question, both
Thank
of
you.
them. First of all, laser works on the surface of the eye, and a cataract occurs inside the lens, which is in the middle of the eye. It's a clouding of that lens, which is normally clear. So the only way of improving vision, if you have a clouding of your lens, the clouding would be blocking the light as it comes through, is to remove the cloudy lens and replace it with a clear artificial lens.
Okay.
So laser won't help with cataracts, but lens surgery would help. Once you've had your lens surgery, if you're a little bit off target, one can have laser on the surface to refine. You can refine the vision.
Okay.
So if you've had a cataract and your vision, you're still needing glasses for reading or distance, that can be gotten rid of by having some top-up laser.
So I know somebody has just had cataract surgery, now they're wearing glasses, and
Yeah.
they actually said, oh, can they do cataracts? So
Yes.
hence I'm asking.
So that's absolutely fine. Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it is doable.
Correct.
And are we all going to get cataracts if we live long enough?
So they say if you live to 90, you'll have got a cataract.
Okay.
So to answer the question, unfortunately not everyone lives to 90.
No, but those of us that are going to.
But then again, some people will develop cataracts at a younger age. My father developed his cataracts in his mid-60s. He had cataract treatment, and he's been glasses free for many years. My mom, she had laser in her 60s. She had no cataracts. She needed glasses. And she's now in her 80s. She's just starting to get a cataract.
Okay.
So yes, at some point she'll have her cataracts done, and she's back to where she should be.
So you'll do that. You'll help her out, being her son.
Yeah, we'll get her over. She lives in Cape Town, but we
That's
may
all
end
right.
up doing it locally. I have a good
Right.
friend in Cape Town
Okay.
who's excellent. I'm not sure if she's up for the travel anymore, but
No, that's fair enough.
nonetheless,
But you
yes.
are. You are.
No, I'm happy to go to Cape Town. That's
I'm
for
sure it's beautiful. It's very beautiful there. Okay, so cataracts. Oh, I remember when I came 10 years ago, and you did my eyes, and then I said something like, what are you doing the next day or whatever, and you said, we're doing repairs for people that have had damage from other surgery, from other places. So, and that really reassured me, because I'm thinking, partly because the machine was made here, wasn't it? You said you had some input in
We
there.
helped to develop some
Yeah, you
of
helped
the
to develop.
technology, yes.
And the fact that you're fixing up people that have had some
So, as we mentioned
problems.
earlier, most of the complications can be improved on.
Yes.
At least to some degree, and we can bring people back to functional vision. The incidence of complications after laser is actually quite rare, but when they happen, because it was a good seeing eye, people are quite vocal about them.
Yeah.
And they should be.
Yeah, sure.
The problem being is that not all clinicians are able to help and repair a lot of the more complicated complications when they do happen. So that's where we have a few of us who this is what we do, and we're one-trick ponies, we just do laser. And we have a lot of additional technology, which not everyone has access to, and that often allows us to diagnose, okay, well hang on, this is where that little issue is coming from, and allows us then to also plan how to correct that and bring things back on track.
Okay.
So we do a lot of repair work. We are sent a lot of patients from around the world. People have a hard time. Most of the time we can bring people to a much better position. Sometimes it's not, but you can't fix everything, unfortunately. It's medicine, and there is risk in these treatments. So yeah, we're very careful to explain to people to match their expectations at the end of the day.
So you've also reminded me to say about people come from all over the world. Do you think you guys are the best in the world?
I think there are many people who are the best in the world. I think in any discipline you'll have people who, as I said, for us we're one-trick ponies.
Yeah.
We specialize, we're super specialized in one area, and that allows us to make our range of treatments wider. We have less complications. We have a higher number of patients who are exactly on target, perhaps than someone who's doing it part-time. That's what I can say. But I think also the technology has improved dramatically. We've had the ability to do laser treatment for almost 40 years.
Yeah.
And so what's happening now is that the newer technology is just more forgiving, it's more accurate, it's innately more. So even if you are a surgeon who's doing this part-time or occasionally, you're getting better results. which means that more and more people are able to benefit from it. Yeah.
Because I could have this wrong. We do forget things, but I'm pretty sure my now ex-husband, he had his eyes done, I think, just before I met him, so this is over 30 years ago, on a boat. Did they have boat surgeries?
There were,
he was in agony. He said it was very, very
those were
painful.
very rudimentary treatments.
Yeah.
But again, we've moved so far away from those treatments.
Right.
They're not done anymore.
But it did happen.
It
Because I
did
think,
happen.
did I happen? Yeah, and it would have hurt. I don't know why, but
again, we learn tricks how to make it not hurt.
Yeah. And
Nowadays,
why
laser
would
treatment doesn't hurt. Yeah.
But why the boat? Because it travelled around, it could reach more
I
people
think
because it was illegal and it was offshore.
It wasn't illegal
No.
offshore, but it was more that the surgeons there weren't many people trained.
Right.
So I think it was easier to bring the surgeon
To them,
but then you needed all your technology, all your
Yeah.
everything to come with you. So what's a good mobile way of bringing
On
it
a boat.
around was on the boat. Yeah.
Well, they do it now in Africa, don't they? There's charity boats, but not so much. Well, I think eyes and all sorts of stuff. They go around.
Things have become a lot more refined, so they're
Yes.
able to do that. Yeah.
Two other things I can think of. I'm trying to think. What would people want to know? Does it hurt? You can answer that because you've had yours done. Does
You
it
can
hurt?
answer it as well.
I know, but I'm asking the questions. You can ask.
So
me
it
if you want.
doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt.
It doesn't. No.
The anesthetic for the actual treatment is in the form of drops. We don't use needles or injections.
No.
After the treatment, for the first hour or two, it could be a little bit gritty for the most part. At the worst case, a little bit like chopping onions. But that will only last for a little bit of time.
The sensation of
Yes.
having onions chopped.
Correct,
Yes. Yeah.
And what we then do is we give people additional drops so that if you are one of the few people who has that chopping onions feeling, you get to pop them in and it soothes them very quickly.
Yeah.
Once the little openings are sealed, which happens in literally an hour or so, you won't feel anything.
No.
So for the most part, I would say 50% of people feel nothing. Then literally, by the time the anesthetic drops have worn off from the treatment, they've already sealed, so they feel nothing.
Yeah.
Another 40% will be a little bit gritty, but they can manage. So we tend to tell people rest your eyes for the first few hours, and by resting them, it keeps them comfy enough.
Yeah.
And that last 10% that get a little bit of extra scratchiness, this is where the little Voltron drops, we give them a little bit of soothing, and it soothes them down within an hour or so, they're back on track.
Because the mind's a powerful thing, isn't it? And I know, for me, I just kind of go out of my body and put myself in your little chair and say, do whatever. But you're saying, look at that light and that light and that light. And by the time I've looked at all these lights, you say, you're done. And I thought, oh, what was that all about?
So the treatments take 10 minutes
it's
without
amazing.
rushing.
Yeah.
We factor in much more time, so we're able to give people their
Calm
space
us
and
down
time.
and-
Exactly, But the laser is only used for 20 seconds.
It's incredible.
On average, So most of the treatment is positioning and checking. We have a lot of double checks that go on in the background. And that's why people are really surprised. In fact, what I always say as well is that the treatment is important. It is the treatment.
Yeah.
But it's 10 minutes.
Yeah.
What's equally as important is the before, working out, are you a good candidate? What's the right approach for you? Getting all the testing squared away and all the calculations. And then the aftercare. Again, as you said,
it's so important.
most people have a very, very easy run, and it's very easy and it's quick and you heal quickly and it's, wow, I should have done this years ago. But for the few people that will have a few niggles, the dry eyes last a little bit longer, the night vision is a little more ghosted from a little more swelling and things like that, or if they've settled a little bit off target, those are the ones that we put a lot more energy into, because we've got to help them. We've got to keep them going until they get to that point where it's resolved and now they're with everyone else. Or we can do little tweaks and adjustments to get them back on track. So it's very few people nowadays who are left in a position where they're having still long-term difficulties.
Yeah, for me, I'm not saying it's a piece of cake, but it was a doddle in comparison to like going to the dentist. That does put the fear of God in me, but that was amazing. And for those that are a little bit anxious, there's lots of sugary things around, which is lovely. There's lots of chocolate and biscuits and fruit. Actually, I haven't seen any fruit. There used to be fruit. Maybe there is. I just go straight for the chocolates.
Biscuits and
so you're
things,
very well looked after. And also you can give people sedatives if they are a little bit.
Yes, we give them a mild sedative. We don't want people to be knocked out. You have to be awake for the treatment because we want you looking at the little lights and looking in the right direction for the laser to work well. But we can give people a little mild sedative if they're particularly nervous. But very few people take it on. Yeah,
Really?
it's like
That's very
less than
interesting.
5% of people. Most people, because again, it's so gentle and quick.
Yes.
In fact, it's funny, when you finish the first eye, most people turn around and go, what, that's it?
Yes,
Let's do the other one, I'm ready.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's your first reference
Yeah,
point.
no,
yes.
it's fantastic. And the smell, people say, oh, it really smells of burning and everything, doesn't it? What do you say about the
So
smell?
some of the treatments have a little funny burning smell, others don't, depending on which treatment you have. The burning is not burning, it's not heat. There's no heat involved in the treatment. When the laser works, it's a cold laser. There's not even a 1 degree rise on the surface of the eye. But what you're really smelling is just little carbon atoms from the laser process.
Okay.
And it does smell a little bit funny for a few seconds.
Yeah, but that's
And
nothing
then it's
at
gone,
all, is it? And again, the power of the mind, because I was speaking to another friend before I came here, and she said, oh, there's this horrible burning smell, isn't there? And of course, my mind thinks, oh, it's going to burn my eyes out, and 'cause, you know. So
That's watching too many movies.
it is, the fear of. Cost. Let's just talk about cost, because people are going to say, oh, how much? How much? I know it varies.
The treatments, we have 2 levels of treatment. Our clinic is pretty straightforward in its cost. First of all, the cost is all inclusive. So when you come for your treatment, we don't charge bit by bit by bit. You have your pre-operative assessments, which take a few hours. You meet your surgeon on a separate day, so you have time to reflect on all the paperwork, etc. There's the surgery, the treatment, and then you have your aftercare, which is up to a year. And so the treatment cost is all inclusive. Treatment starts at around about £5,900. They can go up as high as 7.5 for people with very complex prescriptions, because it does take a lot more work to prepare them for the treatment. Not them specifically, but preparing the laser
specific
entries,
to their needs,
yes, specific to their needs. And then we also include in the cost adjustment treatment. So if you need an enhancement within the first year, it's not your fault. Your eye has healed a little bit off target. It's not the laser's fault, it's not your fault. But if the eye heals to one side, slightly to one side, obviously we can nudge things back on track. And we include those adjustment treatments in the fee structure as well. Yeah.
Does that happen often? I didn't know about that, so I haven't needed it.
Yeah, so it depends on on what you present with. If you have a relatively low prescription, it can be a 5% chance. If you're the highest that we can treat, it could be much higher, even a 30 or 40% chance.
Okay.
The higher your prescription, the more variation we tend to see as a group. Yes.
Right, okay. So I'm kind of done now, and I'm going to come back in 5 weeks or so, 4 or 5 weeks for another check.
So we need a few more checks in the early phase, early phase being the first few months. And as we see your eyes are fully healed, the dryness is settled, not too dry already, but once that's settled, we check the swelling has come down. We want to check that you're exactly on target as well. And then at that point, yes, you should just have an annual eye checkup, which can be done even with your local optician.
But and that's a good question actually, because I don't tend to go because I think they're going to. Well, I did go actually once, but they're a little bit confused. They wanted to sell me glasses.
So we would always provide people with a summary of what we've done. And
right.
There's very clear instructions in that for the optician as to how we've set up the eyes.
Right.
We don't need them to be prescribing glasses, but there are certain health checks that we should all
behind
be having.
the eyes, yeah.
Normally at the back of the eye. We look at the status and the health of the retina, and also the pressure of the eye. There's a condition called glaucoma, which is you're not really aware of this pressure. You can't feel the pressure. It needs to be measured. Most of us thankfully have low eye pressure, which means we're safe from it. But if you have high pressure, it can be easily screened for by your optician. And then there's very good treatment for that. So it's like having high blood pressure.
Yes.
Unless you measure it, you can't know you have it.
Yeah.
Once you know you have it, it's easy to treat, and you don't go on to have a stroke and other side effects from the blood pressure being raised. Yeah.
And when I came here for my consultation, I went in so many different machines. I think 4 or 5 different.
Sure.
So you really are checking the health.
Correct.
The whole thing.
But even then, these specific health things would be done automatically by your local.
So you don't have to come up.
You don't need to. No. In fact, we encourage people to go and see their local opticians. They're perfectly adequate at doing it, and you have a relationship with them for many years. So it's
but they just want to sell you glasses. So they want to do glasses or lenses. Glenn, that's been amazing. Thank you
very
much.
You've done very well with your treatments.
Well,
I'm glad we were able to adjust things and get you back on track.
Yeah,
And hopefully,
me too.
yes, you'll spend many more years being glasses free.
Yeah, it's a
The
life changer.
biggest decision now is which pair of sunglasses you want to
Well,
choose.
actually, I don't even wear sunglasses. Yeah, that's another thing, though, because I understand that by wearing sunglasses, you're affecting the is it the retina or something? But your eyes will determine how much, is it melatonin that your body needs to create to protect it from the sun. So if you're hiding behind sunglasses, you're stopping that natural process. So I haven't worn sunglasses until last week when you told me to. But
There is maybe an element of that, but the truth is also UV light for the eye is not always the best. So if
Right.
you're in very bright light conditions, sunglasses are good. They
okay,
protect the surface of your eye and also the retina at the back of the eye,
Okay.
and a little bit towards things like cataracts and things.
so
We know that some people in the world who live in high altitude areas where the UV exposure is high, someone living in Nepal, for example, that population group tends to get cataracts at a much younger age.
that's very
And
interesting.
most of that is UV exposure, yeah.
So they should be wearing glasses.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I'm on my way home. Buy some sunglasses. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Great, well done. We'll
Yes.
see you in a few weeks.
You will indeed. And thank you for watching Wise Women Weekdays.
Nice to meet you
yeah.
all.
Yeah, any comments, put the comments down. Any questions, put them down and I'll relay them too. Oh, and I'll put your details so you might be inundated so people might want to come to
It
London
all
and
starts
see you.
with the screening. There you go.
There you go, starts with the screen. And that's the other thing, they can be screened, they pay for the
Yeah.
screening and then you will say yay or nay.
You can have a free screening as well. It
Oh.
exists as well. And,
Free
and
screening.
it's nice that because at that point you get to see if you are a candidate, and also importantly what risk category you fall into.
And
So that allows you to make an educated decision.
guess, or not
if
guess,
you
yes,
want
a
to go
decision.
forward or not, yeah.
Plus you get some chocolates. They're all over the place, these chocolates.
Help yourself.
Yeah, I will on the way out. Thank you very much.